Chapter 8, Lesson 1, Volume of Cylinders. You will be able to find the volume of cylinders. Volume is the measure of the space occupied by a solid. Volume is measured in cubic units. A cylinder is a three-dimensional figure with two parallel congruent circular bases connected by a curved surface. The area of the base of a cylinder tells the number of cubic units in one layer. The height tells us how many layers there are in a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder is volume equals capital BH, where B represents the area of the base. And since cylinders have a circular base, we replace that capital B with pi r squared, and then replace the h. So our volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. Find the volume of each cylinder, round to the nearest tenth. So volume equals big BH, but volume equals pi r squared h. Volume equals, it doesn't say to substitute for pi, so we will actually type in pi in our calculators. The radius is 5 centimeters, and the height of the cylinder is 8.3. Plug this into your calculator. You can use the pi button. Pi times 5 squared times 8.3, and we get a volume of 651.880, etc. To the nearest tenth, that would be 651.9 centimeters cubed. Letter B, volume equals capital BH. Capital B is replaced with pi r squared, again because the base of a cylinder is a circle. 3 here represents the radius, 1.8 represents the height of the cylinder. Volume equals pi 3 squared times 1.8. Plug that in the calculator, and we get 50.893, round to the nearest tenth, 50.9, and it's cubic inches. Letter C, volume equals capital BH, which is pi r squared h. Volume equals pi radius squared times 5. This is our radius. This is the height of the cylinder. You always know where the radius is because it's on the circle part of our cylinder. So this is the base of our cylinder, and it goes from the center to one side. Therefore, it's the radius. Plug this in your calculator. Pi times 3 squared times 5. And we get 141.371, or 141.4 cubic inches. So this time we don't have a figure, but we know the diameter is 12 millimeters and the height is 5 millimeters. So if I were to draw a cylinder, okay, the height is 5 millimeters and the diameter is 12 millimeters. I can't use the diameter in my formula. I need to find the radius first. Well, I know the radius is half the diameter, which means it's half of 12, or 6. So volume equals capital BH. Volume equals pi r squared h. This is our radius. This is our height. Volume equals pi times 6 squared times 5. Volume equals, put it in your calculator, 565.486. which is 565.5 millimeters cubed. A metal paperweight is in the shape of a cylinder. The paperweight has a height of 1.5 inches and a diameter of 2 inches. How much does the paperweight weigh if 1 cubic inch weighs 1.8 ounces? So we know the height is 1.5, and we know the diameter is 2. Well, we need the radius, and the radius is half of the diameter. Half of 2 is 1. First thing we need to do is figure out the volume. Volume equals big BH. Volume equals pi r squared h. Plug in what we know. Volume equals pi, radius is 1, height is 1.5. So put in your calculator pi times 1 squared times 1.5, and we get a volume of 4.712. Let's round this to the nearest tenth. We get a volume of 4.7 inches cubed. Well, if 1 cubic inch weighs 1.8 ounces, how much would 4.7 cubic inches weigh? We would take that 4.7 and multiply it by the 1.8. When we do that, we get 8.46, and weight is measured in this example in ounces. Letter F. The Roberts family uses a container shaped like a cylinder to recycle aluminum cans. It has a height of 4 feet and a diameter of 1.5 feet. The container is full. How much do the contents weigh if the average weight of aluminum cans is 37 ounces per cubic foot? First, let's find the volume. To find the volume, we need the radius. To find the radius, we divide the diameter in half. So our radius is 0.75. So volume equals big BH. Volume equals pi r squared h. Volume equals, plug it in. Pi is pi. Our radius is 0.75, square it. And our height is 4. And plug them into your calculator. Pi times 0.75 squared times 4 gives us a volume of 7.068, or 7.1 cubic feet. Well, we know that each cubic foot is 37 ounces, so we take our 7.1 and multiply it by 37 ounces, and we get a total weight of 262.7 ounces. Volume of a composite solid. Objects made up of more than one type of solid are called composite solids. To find the volume of a composite solid, decompose the figure into solids whose volumes you know how to find. Tanya uses cube-shaped beads to make jewelry. Each bead has a circular hole through the middle. Find the volume of each bead. So here we have a cube with a cylindrical hole. So our two shapes are a cube and a cylinder. Our cube, length, width, and height are all the same. So in the cube, length is 12, width is 12, and height is 12. So to find the volume, volume equals length, width, height. Volume equals 12 times 12 times 12, which equals 1,728 millimeters cubed. Now for the cylinder. Our cylinder has, it looks like the height would still be 12 centimeters, and it looks like the diameter is 2. and it's millimeters, actually not centimeters. So 12 millimeters and 2 millimeters. We need a radius, so the radius, which is half the diameter, is 1. Volume equals big BH. Volume equals pi r squared h. Volume equals pi, radius is 1, and our height is 12. Volume equals 37.699, or 30, actually we'll round at the end, so we'll leave it as 37.699. Okay, so we have our cube and a cylinder, but the cylinder portion is a hole. So imagine that cylinder being taken out of that cube. That would mean we would have to subtract the two volumes. So we would subtract 1728 minus 37.699. And we would get 1,690.301. Round, does it tell us? Let's see. It doesn't say to round, but I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. So each bead is 1,690.3 cubic millimeters. The Service Club is building models of storage chests like the one shown to donate to a charity. Find the volume of the chest to the nearest tenth. So I see half of a cylinder on top and a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism, length, width, and height. Let's find that one first. The volume equals length times width times height, which equals 30 times 25 times 50. And that would be 37,500. Now for the semicircle, or I'm sorry, the half a cylinder. Here we have a diameter of 25. So if the diameter is 25, I know the radius is half of that, so 12.5. And the height of it is 50. Volume equals big BH. Volume equals pi r squared h. Volume equals pi. Radius is 12.5. And the height is 50. Multiply them together. Pi times 12.5 squared times 50 is 24,543.69. I don't have enough room, but it's 692. Okay. Now this time we have two segments that are all 1 unit, so we are going to add them together. So 37,500 plus 24,543.69 gives us a total volume of 62,043.69. I'll round to the nearest tenth. 62,043.7 centimeters cubed. A platform like the one shown was built to hold a sculpture for an art exhibit. What is the volume of the figure? So it looks like this top rectangular prism and bottom rectangular prism are the same. They have length of 20. They have a width of 8. And they have a height of 5. So volume equals length, width, height. Volume equals 20 times 8 times 5. Volume equals 800. That's just for one of them though, and there are two of them. So I'm just going to multiply that by 2 and get 1,600 as the volume for those two. Now let's find the cylinder. The diameter is 8, and the height of the cylinder is 15. Well, we need a radius, which would be half the diameter, so 4. Volume equals big BH. Volume equals pi r squared h. Volume equals pi. Radius is 4. Height of the cylinder is 15. Don't confuse that with the height of the prism. Plug those in your calculator. So pi times 4 squared times 15 is 753.98. Let's round to the nearest tens place. It would actually be 754.0. Since we add 1 to the 9, that makes this 10. We carry over the 1 there. Since I'm rounding to the tens place, I'm going to put the 0.0 there. And this is, oh, actually, we shouldn't even round until the end now that I think about it. We're not at the end yet. So we have both volumes to add together. So we take our 1,600 plus our 753.98, add them together, and round this value, so we get 2,354.0 meters cubed.